Happy Thursday, everyone. And man, we are definitely feeling the crunch and the stretch and the freaking crazy. And I want to talk with you about all of that. We're going to be talking about the energy stuff, timeline stuff, and also political stuff. That was the header coming into this thing. And yeah, he's bananas. He's mentally ill. He is a very, very ill person. So we're going to put that out there, and we'll get to that in a minute. But first, as always, I want to start with the baseline of these energies, okay? Because I know most of my audience is sensitive, intuitive, tuned in, and we just need to find our sanity in the middle of just some real crazy going on right now, both energetically and nationally. So let's go to the energetics first. So the baseline on this, and I gave a heads up in my forecast that was on Sunday, but let's just get really clear. Yesterday was the apex of the Saturn conjunct Mercury retrograde into direct conjunct Venus as it's retrograde and will be going direct, and the North Node. That's a rarity. It's just an extreme rarity. And remember, Spirit Team gave us that thing about twisted rock into silver lining strong kind of thing. And it has had that energy to it, but it's been rough. So if you are feeling disoriented, if you are feeling disengaged, if you are feeling disillusioned, if you are in pain, energy pain or physical pain, if you feel like we are in an all hope is lost kind of shadow, dark kind of place, that's this. That is all of this. And to give you a little bit of my personal background on this. So yesterday morning, well, I got to say Tuesday I was feeling it, but I was getting through. But yesterday morning, Wednesday morning, I woke up with the aura floaters of a migraine coming on as I was waking up. That hasn't happened in years. So that's how intense and rare this energy is. And the next thing I noticed is it wasn't just like, I knew some of the food that I ate was a trigger, but that wasn't the whole thing. I knew the energies, the intensity of the energies were part of it. But the third thing that happened was as I was waking up, I noticed that like our cosmic realm, like it got blown open, and everybody's fear and darkness and shadow and the screaming memes coming out of the White House, like it was all fair game first thing out of the gate yesterday. So if you are, I just want to put a baseline out here for you, because I know most of my audience, intuitive, sensitive, psychics, neurodivergence, that's most of us who we are right here. So I want to put this baseline out here for you so you know you're not crazy. But we're all crazy. But here's the deal. If you are feeling disoriented, if you are feeling low energy, if you are feeling crazy, or that you're seeing a whole bunch of people, not just at the national scene crazy, but people around you in your life just kind of going a little bit crazy, and if you are feeling in pain, energetically and or emotionally and or physically, like this event, like it's been deep pain. There's been a lot of that. And then the last thing is this energy of like such shadow darkness that it feels like all hope is lost. That like, why bother? I want to give up. I'm done. All of this that I'm talking about, these are markers for this conjunct. It is a brutal conjunct. It is rearranging us like that twisted rock thing. Remember the forecast Spirit Team said twisted rock? It is rearranging us at our depths, at our root structure right now. And remember, Spirit Team said, so silver lining strong, there's going to be some good coming out of this. And I will say, as I've gone through the last 24 hours, there is this sense of like, man, this has been rough, but there's going to be some good coming out of this, because it's like there's a setup happening. I don't know if you can see it. We're going to talk about it, but there's a setup beginning to happen. So I just want you to know that this last 24, 36, 48 hours, depending on when you see this video, you know, it's the apex of crazy. It's the apex of pain. It's the apex of disillusionment. It's all of that. So this is the shadow. This is us dealing with an exfoliation or an exorcism of shadow. That's basically what's going on here. And here, Spirit Team just wants to give us a heads up that yes, we have gone through the intensity of the apex, but we're not out of the woods. So a continued sense of heads up and also self-care and paying attention. And we might get the whirligigs of us being crazy or other people around us being crazy. That's just kind of the nature of things right now. Like this conjunct set people off. Like whatever was going on with this, it allowed us to get in touch with our out of control emotional crazy. And there were no guardrails on it. And I think we can see that on the national scene. Like, you know, the last couple of days I've been looking at what he's doing, and I literally, guys, like, he's nuts. He's mentally ill, he's emotionally ill, he's nuts, he's not in his body. It's just nuts. And it's all been exacerbated by this conjunct. So we need to kind of look at it through that filter, through that lens. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the dumpster fire, okay? And let's look at it from the perspective of the lens of this energy that we're living through, because the last 24, 36, 48 hours, we've been living through this whole thing with the tariffs, right? The market's crashing and all this confusion and all this angst and all this fear and all this buildup. And then on the turn of a dime, Trump goes, just joking. I'm going to pull the rug out from underneath you. Just joking. Not going to do it. And he didn't even let his advisors know. He just kind of did it on a whim. So this is craziness. Like, this is that whole mentally ill, emotionally ill craziness exacerbated by Saturn. And then we saw, you know, the markets got their rocks off again. And so we're just in this whole volatility thing. And so what I will say about extreme situations like this, especially with us being sensitive, sometimes we just got to walk away, drop the curtain, do our self-care, kind of go into hibernation a little bit just to be able to take care of ourselves, because it is so brutal. And it doesn't make sense to really be putting ourselves out there until a little bit of the storm has passed. And this is a wave of the storm, basically. So with that all said, there were a couple of anchor points that I wanted to give to you today to shed some light, even in the face of all of the volatility of the energy and all of the volatility of the madman. I want to give you some markers. We need to begin to have some markers, because Kamala's in our rearview mirror, Eovi is in our rearview mirror. You know, we're on our own. It's up to us at this point. That has become very clear. One of the markers that I want to give to you, it happened last night. So last night, I didn't sleep a whole lot. It was one of those things, I was really tired and wanted to fall asleep, but, you know, my whole body was on red alert. Like, it was like, you know, the watch person was out, you know, on guard, because it felt like that kind of an evening. And as I was like trying to sleep but couldn't sleep, and I was tuning it, like I was trying to look into the depth of the beast to like see what was going on and see how this is going to play out and see where the cracking point is and all of that. And I couldn't see it, and I couldn't see it, and I couldn't see it. And finally I just, you know, I fell asleep in that state of like, I need to be on alert, but I'm too tired, and the watch person is out. It was one of those evenings, and then fell asleep hard. And when I woke up, there was like, I kind of like came to, and there was a feeling, my entire spirit team was surrounding me. There was a lot of love. My animals were with me. We were like in our nest. And in that bubbled space, I could feel from my spirit team the sensation of, it looks awful, but it's going to work out. It looks irrational, like it's all going crazy and it's all falling apart and it's never going to come back together again, but it's all going to work out. And it felt so solid and so calm compared to that vortex of shadow, nasty energy that was going on all day yesterday. And there was a sense of deep calm and deep love. And there was also this sense of like, you have no idea how things are setting up. There was a feeling of like, they are pushing and they are pushing and they are pushing and they are pushing this too far. And because of all of it, it's setting up. It is setting up in a new way. Now, will they show me what that is? No. Will they tell me when that is? No. Like the feeling I get is like, you've got to live through this and you all are co-creating with this. And this is the whole part of like the miracle that you set in place and it's going to begin to happen. So I just want you all to know that yesterday I lived through the ringer of the darkness and it felt like everything was lost. And then I woke up this morning and it's all really dicey. It's all like crazy, scary, dicey, right? But like spirit world really showed up with that bubble of energy and message and love and a feeling of like, don't give up. Like, no, just like keep walking, keep moving forward. And then there was also this energy of like, you know, you do realize that Saturn is driving the engine on this thing with the conjuncts. Like, because, you know, what do I say and what do other readers and astrologists say? The energies drive the engine on it. Well, Saturn with the conjuncts have definitely been driving the energy on the last 48 hours. And you can see it. You can see it. It's written all over the headlines. So we just kind of need to take stock with all of that. And then on the very back end of this, two things. There's two more things that I want to share with you. Like, do I share the funny? Okay, I'm going to share the funny haha first, and then there's a really interesting energy anomaly. And yes, I know this video is like all over the place because it's hard to locate where the center is at this point. But the message that Spirit team kept repeating to me coming into this video, they want me to tell you all. The madmen are painting themselves into a corner. So I know it looks like they have all the power and it looks like they're taking over and they're trying to scramble on that as fast as they can. But Spirit World is saying the madmen are painting themselves into a corner. And here's the funny. Then they reminded me of like, remember right around, I think it was day or two or day of like, inauguration day, and I did that video about Dick in the Sky. Remember that? Dick in a box, Dick in the sky. Remember that? It was like painful, funny at a very painful time. That came back this morning. So Spirit team is like giving me this message on the madmen are painting themselves into a corner, and at the same time they're showing me that picture about the Dick in the Sky. So the Dick in the Sky, they've been doing stuff, right? And then I made fun of it like, oh my God, Dick in a box. In Spirit World this morning, they said, Dana, that's not too far off. They are painting their dicks into a box. And you know what the last message was on this? Oh my God, the last message was, and they're going to end up putting their dicks in a vice. Spirit team is saying, say it a little louder. They're going to end up putting their dicks in a vice. So that's pretty graphic. It's kind of like painful, funny, dark humor, ha-ha kind of stuff to lift our spirits, but just kind of keep that in mind. Now, there's one other thing that I want to share with you that I have noticed happening over the last 48 hours. So, you know, I'm big on talking about timeline jumps. So in the last 48 hours, I have noticed that it's like time feels glitchy, okay? And then also on my videos, my video feed, there begun to be again the videos coming up of glitches in the Matrix videos. Those have started popping up again. And so I've been noticing this whole thing about time feels glitchy, space feels glitchy. It does not feel like a timeline jump. Like it does, this is not timeline jump energy. This is like glitch, kind of like glitch. It feels very glitchy. And then this morning, Spirit team, Oh my God, there's so much energy in this. This morning, Spirit Team, during my walk with Peanut, started talking with me about timeline arcs. And I'm like, what the hell are timeline arcs? Remember Madeleine L'Engle's Wrinkle in Time? And remember the tesseract of 2 points in time coming together and then coming apart? When Spirit Team talks to me about timeline arcs, it feels very much like the Madeleine L'Engle tesseract. And then with this, there's this whole like timeline glitch and timeline glitch. And then somewhere the they arc, they touch. And I've had that sensation happening off and on for the last 48 hours. And then I see these glitchy matrix videos, and they're not just like, glitch. Like, one woman literally saw herself from another time walking around in her own space-time continuum today. And Spirit Team is saying, that's the arc. That's the timeline arc. 2 points in time, 2 points in space-time, touching one another for a little while, and then coming apart, and we're feeling it through the zzz, 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 and then zzz, somehow touching. So I just want to let you know that as the certain people in certain positions of so-called power at this point, the more they push, the more our 5D higher vibrational timeline is like, we are connecting to more, we're connecting into more, we're connecting into greater. Our ability to be more and more multi-dimensional beings in these human bodies. It's almost like the more they drive the engine one way, the more we are having this like uplift in another. It is so strange. And I can hear Spirit Realm say something like, that's the point. Like there's something in process with this that is creating a whole other tangential level, and we need to be aware of that. So remember, what did they say in the forecast over the weekend? They said twisted rock, silver lining strong. The twisted rock is the really crushing Saturn stuff we're going through. The silver lining strong is the playbook that's getting set up down the road for a whole bunch of change to happen for the better. And at the same time, silver lining strong is like, look what we're doing multidimensionally right now that we weren't able to do before just in the last 48 hours. I don't know, guys. Something is afoot. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know that I need to put my finger on it, but I just wanted to come on today and report about the crazy and the anomalies and the shadow darkness that's scary and terrifying and hard and painful, and the amazing timeline arcs and timeline glitches, and oh my God, something is setting up, and dicks are headed into being in vices, and they're painting themselves into a corner, and we just got to stick with it. And just keep taking those steps. Like I say, keep walking forward so you can meet the miracles along the way. And I will see you in my next video tomorrow. Mwah.